position we're going to be breaking down is the shin guard. The shin guard is an intermediary guard. So it's not a close guard like a closed guard would be, and it's also not a long guard like a spider guard would be. It's in the middle. Now, you're not going to only play shin guard whenever you're using this material. If your opponent backs up, you might go to a longer guard. If they come in closer, you'll go to closed guard. Everything we're going to be doing is offensive in nature. So I'm not going to be showing you counters to the shin guard. I'm not going to be showing you how to beat it. I'm not going to be showing you re-counters. Your job is to take this material, learn all the offensive techniques, and then go with your partners and whatnot and try to beat them. So two main grips that we're going to be using. One is the sleeve grip. So it's a 4-finger sleeve grip where my 4 fingers are going on the outside. I'm rolling the cuff and then I'm going to padlock it in place with my thumb. The other one is a pistol grip on the cuff of the pants. I'm going to take one finger and I'm going to put it inside the pants and then I'm going to roll my fingers in for that pistol grip. So pointer finger, just the tip of the fingers going in, and then I'm rolling my fingers to get that pistol grip. So what we consider classic shin guard is having this leg on the inside of his arm. I usually have a 4-finger grip with his sleeve, and then in a second I'll show you the pistol grip on the other leg. But this leg, again, is across the waist. Classic shin guard is my shin is usually activated close to the bicep of his arm. So this is inside. I can also have my leg on the outside. This usually leads to arm bars and whatnot, so it's more of a position that you're going to find yourself in for a split second, but we have a whole bunch of things we can do from right here. We also have over top, where I have this leg over top of his back. Now again, my leg that was across the waist is staying in the exact same position. This may float kind of down to here, that's fine, but over is the next one. I also have a lasso style grip where, with my leg, where I've gone in from the outside, and then I have spider. So from another angle, classic shin guard, arm on the inside, leg over top, lasso, and spider. Now I mentioned the other hand, the other grip that I'm getting. I'm going to get a pistol grip with this hand. So if I just go for a pistol grip and I grab right here, there's a good chance I'm going to lose it. So I'm actually going to put the tip of my finger just barely in the cuff and then roll those fingers over. So technically, with a lot of tournaments, it's illegal to put our fingers inside cuffs. I'm putting the tip of a finger in. You're probably not going to be called on it. And once I have that in, I can get that pistol grip, and this is a really strong grip. Like I said, as opposed to a pistol grip without that in, or something I will get called on in a tournament where I have 4 fingers in. That's obviously a really strong grip on the cuff of his pants, but I'm going to get called on that. The ref's going to come and take my hand out. So literally 1 finger goes in, and then that's my pistol grip. And then again, 4-finger grip on this side. So this is the grip that I'm looking for with the classic shin guard and all of the different variations. Again, over, I have arm inside, I have lasso, and spider. So there's 5 total that we're going to be working with. So the first entry we're going to be doing to shin guard is the simple bridge and then shrimp in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the balls of my feet on the ground. I have my hand all the way up on his neck, my lower hand all the way down on the hip. I'm going to bridge up. I'm going to bring my hips back, which keeps my partner away from me. And then my lower knee slides in, and my top knee swivels in. So watch that again. Hand on the neck, hand on the hip. I'm going to bridge up, I'm going to shrimp out. I insert the knee, and then I swivel the other one. And then I'm immediately looking for my grips. I'm getting my sleeve grip, and then I'm going to my pant leg grip. So the second entry that we're going to do is a simple hip heist, back to the knees, and then we're going to pull shin guard. I'm going to bridge up and I'm going to shrimp out just like I did for bringing my leg back into the waist to classic shin guard. So I bridge up, I shrimp out, but now instead of bringing the knee in, I'm going to swim my underhook. My other arm is going to come back. My legs now are going to do the hip heist. So I'm going to come back up to my knees. I'm controlling the belt, and then from right here I post up to my other foot. And now this leg comes in for the shin guard. I end up pulling back, and now my leg is on the outside of his arm. So with the bridge and shrimp, both hands were on the neck and then on the hip. Same thing for the hip heist. Now, the lower arm is going to be underneath. And this could be for a whole bunch of different reasons. Maybe he was going from north-south and he ended up coming back. And then as he came back, this arm was underneath. Okay? I'm going to do the spin out. So what I'm looking to do is, I'm looking to turn the opposite direction. I'm turning, if you will, away from my partner. And now from right here, I come around, and now I'm back to my knees. And then from right here, I'm literally just going to come in and pull shin guard. Another position that you'll find shin guard is defending the double underpass. So the way I'm going to defend it is I'm going to bring a leg over his head. And I'm going to pop his elbow off to get that leg back down. Okay? So now again I have shin across the waist, and then the other one is more over his leg. So watch this again. So even if he starts stacking me up with this and he starts doing the pass, I'm going to bring my leg over and I'm going to pop that elbow up to bring it off of my knee. If he's tight with this and he's clapping his hands, yeah, now it's a really secure double underpass. I can still do this. I can't if I just start going for an elbow. But if I bring my leg over and I pop this off, I'm able to come down into this shin guard with the leg over. Sweeps. The sweeps have to do with my partner's posture. If they're leaning into me like this and they're trying to pass and doing whatnot, it's going to elicit a different response than if he has really good posture and he's sitting back. The first set of sweeps we're going to do is going to be if he's leaning into us and he doesn't have as much posture and he's pressuring into us, or he's somewhere in between there, maybe 45. Once he starts getting past 45, it's a totally different set of sweeps that we're going to do. The classic shin guard sweep is going to be me rocking him up and loading him onto my shin. And then from right here, I'm literally just sitting up. I usually come to knee on belly, and then I would end up going to mount or side control or whatnot. So notice how I started facing that way. I rocked up this way and then I ended facing that way. So you kind of have three different ways that you're going to be facing with the classic shin guard sweep. Again, maybe another angle. So I'm starting facing this way. I'm going to load him up onto my shin and then I'm going to rock up. And like I said, mount. I might end up sliding back down, side control, whatever it might be. The biggest thing with this is making sure that you load them up and then you literally sit up. It's that simple. I'm really doing not much more than rocking up and then sitting up. So the next one is when my leg is over. A very common way that this happens is this person starts swimming for an over-under. Yeah. And he's here. So if I'm not controlling the sleeve, I'm not controlling the pant leg, and I'm immediately thinking defensive, he's going to pass. Remember, this whole series is offensive. So we're going to be initiating the sweep. He's obviously not going to be able to swim that if I'm controlling that yet, so a lot of times that'll happen. When he comes underneath, that's when I'm going to capture it. I have to be controlling the pant leg with the pistol grip on the other side. As he starts to try to pass, I'm going to pull his leg all the way up, so his foot's all the way up by my head. I now have him loaded on my shin, and now I'm going to sit up. Now watch this. This leg is going to end up underneath his neck if I just end up like that. As I start sweeping him, I'm going to bring this leg over his head, and then I'm going to end up on the other side of the body. So I rock him up and I load him as soon as I start sweeping. Bring this leg over and pass. So now from Lasso, I want to try to keep this shin on the inside, but I can get the same thing if I go inside. Everything's going to be the same as the classic shin guard sweep. I'm going to load him up. I'm going to bring his leg the whole way up to my head, and then I'm going to sit up from right here. Now, if I just kind of end right here, his arm is in between my legs. Depending on what I want to do, if I want to sit up, I could sit up into a bicep slicer, or if I'm just looking for the sweep, there's going to be a time when I let go of this arm in order to finish the sweep. That's going to happen as soon as I feel his weight start to go. I let go of the arm so I can continue through and finish in mount. So same grips to start, 4-finger grip, pistol grip on the leg, bring my leg on the outside and then bring it into the lasso on the inside. This pushing and pulling is going to be important to help load my partner. And then again, this leg has to be the whole way up by your head. I let go of that arm, slide right in the mount. So the last one that we're going to do is the spider guard version. So for this, I want to make sure that I can extend my leg as far up as possible. As I mentioned, with all of these, he's pressuring into me. So this spider guard one is one that starts pulling his weight off of me. Now everything is very similar, but I'm taking him at a different angle. Instead of me rocking him this way and then sitting up facing you, I'm actually going to rock him up and then I'm going to take him that way. Pistol grip's the same, 4-finger grip's the same. I bring my foot onto the bicep, I straighten my leg, and now as I load him, I'm kicking my leg at a diagonal angle that way. I take it off, and normally I'll end up in more of a knee on belly with this. So again, if he's pressuring into me, bring my leg onto the inside. Stretch him out the whole way. Load it up, sit up, and then end up in mount. This next sweep from shin guard also can be considered an armbar sweep. It often happens from whenever I shrimp back into shin guard, but this leg is on the outside. Now for him, he knows that the arm is there, and my leg can come over for an armbar. So it's probably not going to hang out here, but you'll see this. You'll see people trying to pass and having that arm on the inside. Yeah. So everything's the same as the classic sweep. I just have this on the inside. Super important part with this now. I'm bringing this leg as close to my head as possible, and that's taking his base away from him so I can sit up with him. Now obviously with this one, you're ending up kind of in a different position. There's a few different options that we have. I can end up coming up kind of like I did, or I can end up coming back up to the armbar. sweep we call the Shin Plata sweep because it's very similar to the Plata sweep. The only difference is my leg isn't going to be over his arm. So where this often happens is he's reaching over this leg, and then this one, very similar to like an over-under pass, but my shin is still inside. That's kind of the position that we're starting from with this. So I'm going to transfer my grip from his sleeve to the back of his tricep. I'm going to pull on his tricep, and then I'm going to take his leg, again, very similar to the Plata sweep, and I'm going to punch that high. So that's going to be the starting position that we have for the sweep. So I reach over, I grab, and now instead of rocking up, I'm going to belly down. I keep a hold of the arm. And now I still have my shin on the inside of his bicep, and from right here I can slide down, reverse scarf hold. So, again, starting in that classic shin guard. This shin is still inside, but I abandon this and I go to the back of his tricep. And again, once I have this, I keep it. Now with the Plata sweep, a lot of people will try to belly down and they'll forget how crucial this leg is. I have to punch this leg as high as I can. For some reason, punching this leg is what allows me to load his hips. So just like all the other sweeps, I have his hips loaded on top of me, and I'm just going to belly down. Again, controlling that arm until I have the sweep completed, and then sliding through. Side control, you can go wherever you want. Another way we can get our Shin Plata sweep is from the armbar position. So obviously if I'm here and I'm controlling, I'll be able to get the armbar. If he starts stacking me, starts shaking this arm out, gets it out, I no longer have the armbar, but I have the Shin Plata sweep. Start stacking me. So I'm trying for my classic shin guard sweep and all of the variations. He postures. My leg goes from underneath, swivels out, then I kick it as high as I can. I reach with my hamstring and I pull him down. My hand goes to the back of the tricep. Now again, everything's the same as the Shin Plata sweep. This is just the leg over Shin Plata sweep. So I belly down, I push this high, come up, and end up in north-south. So now the Scarecrow sweep from side shin guard. Same thing, I don't have him pressuring into me, he's posturing back. I bring my leg out, I swivel it, I kick it high, I break his posture down with the back of my thigh. So now I'm in this side shin guard. I'm going to go for the Shin Plata sweep by controlling this tricep. I'm still controlling the pant leg, but he can counter this. This hand is going to end up posting out. So as soon as I go for it, he posts. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick this leg down, and then I'm going to capture that arm. Everything's the same now. So it kind of looks like a scarecrow. I'm going to do the same Shin Plata sweep. And then when I come up, notice how his head is kind of in between my calf and my hamstring. I'm going to come up kind of into the stocked position. I'm not too concerned about him rolling up to his knees or whatnot, because I can always come back and end up in, again, more of a north-south position. So if he's posturing back and I go to my inverted hip stop like this, and I sweep him, I end up in this position where, again, this arm is accessible and I have my Kimura. Some details with this Kimura. Again, whatever hand is closest to the wrist, that's the one that's grabbing. The other one's going over. If he's grabbing onto anything, he's grabbing onto his pants, he's grabbing onto his belt, I'm going to take his hand and I'm going to put it in my pocket. So I'm going to go that way first. Why? He knows that I want to take his arm that way. Okay? If I pull it this way, it might be hard to take it. But if I take it at an angle, I'm usually able to break those grips. The other thing that helps with this is my elbows. So you can't see it right now, but he can feel it. I have an elbow right in the floating ribs, okay? So that's also gonna help strip that grip. And then once I have it stripped and I bring this over his back, my other elbow is gonna go to the floating ribs. And I now again have the kind of tickle torture with my elbow with the Kimura at the same time. When I'm in shin guard, it's tempting to think about abandoning the grips and going directly for an arm and thinking about an Americana or something. The problem is I'm not controlling his body anymore. And it's easy for him to roll over, start passing, and whatnot. And I'm gonna lose the position. So again, very tempting, but let's secure the position before we start going for submissions. So the next place that we start having more of a secure position is this side shin guard position. Now from right here, I can start going for Kimuras. Depending on where the arm is, I can go for Americanas and whatnot. But again, it is possible for him to roll. What's gonna stop this is me bringing my leg down his spine. So now from right here, I can go for Kimuras. However, we can secure this even more with triangles. So if I allow this leg to kick through, and I go to here, I now have the position secured. I'm going to loosen this, so I don't allow my partner to pass out while I'm demoing this, but I'm going to let go of that. I have my Kimura. I have a razor lock on this side. I have a razor lock on this side. I have an Americana on this side. Details with these locks. Number one, I want you to use a 5-finger grip. I want you to reach over for Kimuras and Americanas. Whatever hand is closest to his wrist is the one that grabs onto his wrist. So if he's in Americana position, white belts, if you've never done this kind of lock, the hand that's closest to his wrist grabs on him. The hand that's closest to his wrist grabs on him. Looking at the submissions from side shin guard. My leg's over, my other shin is still across the waist. I'm going to go for the Kimura first, his arms facing down. Now, white belts, whatever hand is closest to his wrist is the one that gets a 5-finger grip on his wrist. The other arm goes over top. So there's our Kimura. If his arm was right here, whatever hand is closest, 5-finger grip, I reach over, there's my Americana. So my Kimura, a detail I'd like to give credit to Rick Young for, about pulling and tightening the arm before you go for the submission. In his case, he uses that detail with arm bars, and I've adapted it for, in this case, the Kimura and the Americana. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get his humerus, in this case, to line up with my chest. And I'm going to flare my chest out to tighten all of that up. So once I get to here, I should be ready for the tap. I barely have to move at all to get the tap. Same thing with the Americana. So if I just go right here and I start moving, there's a decent amount of space. But if I flare my chest and I pull tight, I can get it a lot better. His defense for both of these is to try to get his arm out. So if I'm here and the arm slips to right here, I now have a razor lock. With the bone of my radius, I'm going to find his elbow. I'm going to go right to the tricep, right above the elbow. I'm going to clap my hands, and now I'm going to roll his arm the way it doesn't want to go. See how if I roll his arm this way, it bends? I want to roll it this way as I do the razor lock. So rather than going like this, I'm going to go like this. If you get your grip right here and you realize it's wrong, rather than letting go and going here, you're going to do a grip switch where you just turn your hands over. I'm going to crunch as I do this. There's my razor lock. So same thing if I was on the Americana and this slips off. Again, it's going to be tempting to want to go this way. I can't get the razor lock that way because his arm's just going to stay bent. As soon as his arm goes here, my other arm goes over and I face this down, and there's my razor lock on that side. So we have our Kimura, a razor lock on this side, a razor lock on this side, an Americana. The last place that he can go with this is hugging my hip. So if he hugs my hip like this, I'm not going to be able to get the arm out. My legs are free. So we're going to do an omoplata style submission. But his arm obviously isn't facing this way, it's facing that way. This leg isn't over for the omoplata, this one is. So I'm going to take this leg and I'm going to stuff it in. The other foot is still hugging the hip. And the reason for this is, if he starts running around this way, I can stop it with my foot. Go ahead and come back. So that foot's there. While I'm laying down, I'm going to hug his wrist to my hip. And then as I sit up, I'm going to put my hands on the mat and I'm going to capture his wrist in between my hip and my leg. And then I'm going to slide my hips backwards. So again, I was here, he's hugging my hip. I'm not going to be able to get the arm out, that's fine. I'm going to do a shoulder lock. I bring my leg over, I stuff it in, I hug the hip with the other leg. Again, my hand is capturing that wrist. I sit up, my hands on the mat, and I slide my hips backwards. So now from the inverted reverse triangle. So if I kick this through and I lock this up here, I'm facing this way. I'm not going to hold on to the triangle the whole time just so I don't allow my partner to pass out while I'm demoing this, but I would have that locked in. I'm facing the Kimura. I have the Kimura, but I don't really have an Americana or anything because that would be facing this way. It's kind of hard for me to get the inverted reverse triangle and go for an Americana. What happens a lot whenever I lock this in is that they start stepping over with this leg. That gives me the toe hold. And then it also actually starts tightening up my inverted reverse triangle. So I am now going to lock that in, and as my partner, once I lock this in, as my partner starts stepping over, it actually tightens the triangle, and then if I want, I can reach back and I can pull on the arm to get the submission, but often you don't even have to. They're turning themselves and they're tightening the triangle by trying to step over and escape. So that's the inverted reverse triangle. I also have just that regular inverted triangle where I have all of the submissions from right there. Every single one we just did. My Kimura, my razor lock on either side, and my Americana. The only one I do not have is the shoulder lock, that omoplata variation, because my legs will be too busy triangling. And again, same thing, I can pull on this and I can likely get the triangle out of that as well. I can also, if he starts stepping over, start going for a toe hold. Just starting from side control, and I was showing you guys this today. if I have this frame and I bridge out, I can bring this knee in really easily, and then this one swivels in, and I'm back to shin guard, also known as L guard. And then from here I have the shin sweep, which we've all done. But what if he brings his arm to the inside? This one, we have that arm bar, we've done that. But the other places this sets us up for is, put your knee back down, is I'm going for this and I can't get it, and I go around to here, and then this is what I consider side guard because I'm on the side. So from here, I have options to go for the triangle or the arm or the leg. His only option is to grab up onto this leg and pull it off and get back to this position. That's his only, or pass. The problem though is if he starts trying to pass, I have the same sweep as the L sweep, but it's from that side guard, so it's the side guard sweep. So again, I'm here, I bring this over, clamp it down, and now from right here, if I hold on to this, and he tries reaching up and grabbing on and pulling this leg off, he's not going to be very successful. He's just going to end up getting himself swept because he puts his head down on the mat, and then there's the sweep. So now from right here, I can reach back, I can get the Kimura. He's going to straighten his arm likely because he doesn't want to get Kimura'd. I have the straight arm lock. Or he's going to bring his hand in front, and this one is just vicious, the Americana. This one I can go, boom, and take it the whole way, which is just nasty. So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect is through to the reverse triangle right here. And then same thing, I have all of these same submissions whenever I want them. And I also have reverse triangle, and then ironically I still have the sweep. And now from the sweep, now I can do the same thing. Right here, I'll look over his head, and I can do all my Kimuras, arm bars, Americanas from right there. So from this end, you go right here. Sure, it's off and side control. I make my frame, I bridge up, I bring that knee in, I swivel the other knee in. Now I'm in shin guard, I have the sweep, bring this leg through, and then now I'm in side guard. Kimura, arm bar, Americana. I can hold on to this, I can reach through to the triangle, get all the same, or the triangle sweep. And the last place that I mentioned, some people will just hug this leg right here. Actually, there's one more. So from right here, this is something, I think I started doing this at blue belt in tournaments and getting it successfully. Going to here, and sitting out to that. I showed it to De La Hiva at one of the seminars. By the way, he was in the corner for Anderson Silva last night, which is pretty cool. Showed it to De La Hiva, comes over and he goes, beautiful, beautiful. And I'm like, so have you seen that, sir? It's like, beautiful, beautiful. Cool, I feel really awesome. And then I realized he's going around to everybody and he's going, beautiful, beautiful. And that was the only word he knew in English at that time. So I was like, oh, I thought I was doing really good. But anyways, it's like an inverted omoplata. So this would be the omoplata. To not get omoplata, he reaches around here. I bring this through. So it's kind of like an inverted omoplata. When I was hitting it, we were jokingly calling it the Gruhn plata. So then the other place, off of the side guard, if he is holding on to here, I can't get it. I go right back to the foot and I get my toe hold. What happens sometimes is that he starts thinking about rolling out of this and going that way. Yeah. So as soon as he goes up and starts rolling that way, I switch this to a knee bar. I get the knee bar, go back to the toe hold, whatever I'm looking there. Side guard. So again, he's pinned both my legs, and this often happens too. If people ask, what if my legs are already straight? You can almost always bend your legs I'm on the balls of the feet. Hands, again, two closest points, either the neck, the shoulder, or if his hips are already coming around, the hip. Okay? So I'm here. My hips are connected to him. I drop my hips out, but keep him where he is. Swivel the top knee out. Bottom knee stays pinned against his hips. First sweep was I'm controlling the tricep. Pistol grip on his pant leg. I pull up, and I just turn. Belly down, holding tight here, sit up. The second one was now I'm trying to get it, but he posts, so I go over his head, hold that arm up in the air. Sweep. And then the third one was a classic shin sweep. From here, I can't get him this way. Again, maybe I'm having trouble with this leg. I grab that tricep. Again, fight for this leg as much as possible. Up, and then I can go from there. I can go into knee on belly or whatnot. Questions on any of that material? Nice. Go ahead and get a quick drink. So we haven't done as much from guard this week. Doesn't matter how you get to the position, but we're going to start from what we consider, or I consider shin guard. So, and the reason is my shins are really activated with it, or L guard, if you will. This might happen from side control. I'm here, I shrimp in, and then I'm here. Okay. So from right here, he's going to do, there's a ton of things he could do, but essentially there's two ways that I can get his energy to go. What ways are they? Forward and backwards. So if he starts coming forward on me, that's awesome because that gives us our shin sweep. So just see that again. Yeah, he's leaning on me. He's loading the sweep for me. Okay. And then we obviously follow that up. We're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on, I've already shin sweeped him. He knows it's happening. So what does he do? He postures back. Whoop, like that. I'm going to take this foot out now. So that gave me the ability to bring this out. And then I'm going to essentially donkey kick him almost with the back of my thigh. So I'm going to go boom, like that. And then I have two options right here. If they're really strong and they're going to hold my weight up, I go to my kind of inverted pit stop. But if they don't have that ability to bring it up, I'm bringing them down to this position. And it's kind of goofy. But this kind of happened at like purple belt for me. I kept on getting in this position. I'm like, well, what the heck is this? And the interesting thing is, I still have a whole bunch of things from here. So number one, this foot is hooking the hip. So if he starts running around to his right, yeah, I can still hook this hip. But I'm already starting to work on this arm. So all the razor locks we've been using, boom, there's our razor locks. I have Americanas. He obviously wants nothing to do with that, so he might end up bringing his arm back here. I have Kimuras, okay? And pretty much all of these, kind of like as Professor Rick showed, they can be used as a sweep. So obviously right here, there's that sweep. Boom, come back. Okay, and then same thing right here, that would lead to a sweep. The submission that I'm going to show, again, it's from this kind of weird position. So he's worried about the what? The omoplata. Even though this leg's in, to him, he doesn't know what's going on. He's kind of looking that way or looking into the mat. If I had this foot out, well, that's obviously the omoplata. So again, his arm's kind of like, well, which do you want to get submitted by? Do you want the arm bar, the Americana, the Kimura? What happens sometimes is they go here, boom, and they just hug. So right here, I'm already starting my sweep. That's going to kind of give me the ability to take this leg over, and then I'm going to feed this in. Yeah. And now look, there it is. If you have really long legs, I'm loosening this on purpose. But what I can do is I can sit up on this. All right,
I was very convinced.
Bad luck. Okay, so I'm here. Look at this again. I was here. I'm hooking the hip so he can't run around that way. I bring this over, and then my goal is to sit up. Okay, if I sit up, go down to your stomach. That'll help with some of the flexibility. That's what it ends up being. My goal is to extend my hips and to flare this knee down. Okay? Let's see it again? So again, starting from this shin guard position. If he's leaning in, shin sweep. If he leans back, whoop, I bring this foot out, boom, I kick that up. And then again, if he's just keeping his posture, that's cool, I'll go to here. And then I'm not in the position that you can get this from, or the submission, but I can still do all the arm attacks. Or, he doesn't have the posture, boom, I bring him down. Your choice of the submissions. Again, the one that I kept on bottoming out on of like, oh, what do I do from here? Was again when they go whoop, they grab on tight. I'm not getting that arm back. Bring this leg over. I'm gonna control the pant leg just to stop him from turning too much or coming over top, because that's the other way he can kind of go. I bring it in. Go ahead and go down to your knee or your belly. Hands on the ground, sit up. Wow. We'll try it? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Streamline.